A mother and her 2 hungry children walked 8 miles through the hot desert. Their car had died on the empty road. She had no money, no food, and no hope. When she finally reached a small diner, she did something that would change her life forever. She walked up to a stranger and asked him for his leftover food. That stranger was Keanu Reeves. What happened next shocked everyone and proved that one act of kindness can change everything. The sun was burning hot in New Mexico. Sarah Martinez pushed open the glass door of a tiny diner on the side of the highway. She was 29 years old, but she looked much older. Her face showed deep tiredness. Next to her were her twin children, Emma and Jack. They were only 4 years old. Their faces were dirty from walking so far. Their lips were dry and cracked. Sarah had not eaten in 3 days. The twins shared half a small muffin yesterday morning. Today they had nothing. Their old car broke down 8 miles back. Sarah had to walk, carrying her children when their small legs got too tired. The hot sun burned her shoulders. Her feet had painful blisters. She checked her pocket one more time. $2.47. That was all she had. A cup of coffee cost $1.50. One piece of toast cost $1.75. She could not even buy toast for her children. Inside the diner, a few people sat drinking coffee. But Sarah was looking at a man sitting alone in the corner. He was eating breakfast slowly. He wore a simple black shirt and old jeans. His beard was a bit long. A baseball cap sat on the table. Nothing about him looked special or rich. Sarah could see his plate was still full of food. Bacon, eggs, potatoes, and toast. Before she could think too much, she walked toward his table. The man looked up. He put down his fork and gave her his complete attention. Sarah's voice was very quiet. "Excuse me, sir. I am so sorry to bother you. But when you finish eating, could we have what is left on your plate?" The whole diner went silent. Everyone stopped and stared. The man did not move at first. He just looked at her carefully. He saw her burned skin. He saw her hurt feet. He saw how she stood between the children to protect them. Then he spoke. His voice was kind and gentle. "How long since they ate?" Sarah could not answer. Her throat felt closed. Then little Jack pulled her shirt. "Mama, my tummy hurts so much." Something changed in the man's face. He raised his hand and called the waitress. "Linda, 3 full meals. Same as mine. And please hurry. These children need food now." Linda hesitated. "Keanu, honey, I have to charge you for 3 full meals. Triple it if you need to. Just get the food out here fast." Sarah stood frozen. This stranger was buying full meals for her family like it was normal. "Sit down, please," he said, pointing to the seat across from him. Every part of Sarah wanted to run. Men who seemed nice always had bad plans. Her husband taught her that lesson many times. But Emma's small hand squeezed hers. Jack made a sad sound. Sarah needed to feed her children more than she needed to be safe. She sat down. The man pushed his plate across the table. "Start with this. More food is coming." He broke off a piece of toast and gave it to Jack. The boy grabbed it and ate it so fast. Emma did the same. "Thank you," Sarah whispered. "You do not have to do this." "Yes, I do," the man said. "I have kids too. Twin girls. They are 14 now." Linda came back with plates full of food. Pancakes, eggs, bacon, and fruit. The smell made Sarah's stomach hurt with hunger. "Eat," the man said. "You cannot take care of them if you are running on empty." Sarah picked up a fork and ate slowly so she would not get sick. Then a loud voice cut through the moment. It was mean and angry. "You really should not encourage these people. Give them something once, and they will keep coming back. That is why people like this never learn." A man at another table was looking at Sarah with disgust. He wore an expensive shirt and a gold watch. The stranger turned slowly to face the rich man. When he spoke, his voice was calm but strong. "Do you know anything about her story? Do you know how far she walked to get here? Let me tell you something. Kindness does not cost anything. And money does not give you the right to judge another person." The rich man threw money on his table and stormed out. Silence came back, but it felt warmer now. Emma was looking at the stranger with curious eyes. "What is your name?" she asked. "Keanu. What is yours?" "Emma. And this is Jack." "Nice to meet you both," Keanu smiled. After the children finished eating, Keanu spoke again. "Where are you headed?" Sarah got nervous. "Santa Fe. My sister lives there." His face showed he knew she was lying, but he did not push. "That is about 70 miles from here. How are you planning to get there?" "We will figure something out." "With no car and no money?" Keanu pulled out his phone and showed Sarah a website. This is the Haven Foundation, a place I helped start with a friend. We help people going through hard times. It is about 20 miles from here. No cost. No strings attached. You and the children can stay while we figure out your situation. Sarah looked at the website. She saw photos of simple buildings, a garden, and a playground. What do you want from me? The question came out harsh. Keanu did not react. Nothing. But I know that look in your eyes. Someone has you running scared. I help people not because I expect anything back, but because I have been in dark places myself. And when I was at my lowest, people helped me. Sarah thought about her options. Walking back to the highway with 2 tired children. Trying to hitchhike with no protection. Okay, she whispered. But just until the car is fixed. They finished eating. Keanu paid the bill and left Linda a big tip. Outside, he led them to a simple SUV. As Sarah helped the children into the back seat, the diner door opened. The rich man from earlier stepped out. You are Keanu Reeves, are you not? He wore a smug look. The movie star. Keanu's face stayed neutral. That is right. The man laughed. Never thought a Hollywood celebrity would waste time picking up strays. What is this? A publicity stunt. Keanu was quiet for a moment. When he spoke, his voice was soft, but every word had weight. In the hardest years of my life, when I lost the people I loved most, nobody asked if I needed help. They saw the famous actor, not the person who was drowning. I promised myself I would never do that to someone else. He opened the car door for Sarah. And one more thing. This woman is not a stray. She is a mother who walked 8 miles through the desert to keep her children safe. That is braver than anything I have ever done. The rich man stood speechless as the SUV pulled away. Inside the car, Emma and Jack were already falling asleep. Keanu drove in comfortable silence. After a few miles, Sarah spoke quietly. His name is Preston. My husband. He hurt my son. I had to leave. Keanu did not push for more. He simply nodded. You do not have to explain anything right now. Right now, the only thing that matters is getting you somewhere safe. Sarah looked back at her children sleeping peacefully. She felt something other than fear. It was small and weak, but it felt like hope. The SUV turned onto a dirt road. A simple wooden sign said the Haven Foundation. After 25 minutes, they stopped in front of a wooden gate. Beyond it, Sarah saw buildings arranged around a central yard. The Haven Foundation covered about 10 acres. Inside were about a dozen small houses painted in warm colors. An American flag flew from a tall pole. There was a large vegetable garden and a playground where kids were playing. It was not fancy, but it was clean and safe. Welcome to the Haven, Keanu said as he turned off the engine. A man came out of the main building. He was tall and thin with a scar on his face. When he saw Keanu, he smiled wide. Keanu, did not expect you until tomorrow. Change of plans. Marcus, I want you to meet someone. Sarah helped the children down. Marcus studied them carefully. He saw their dusty clothes and sunburned skin. He had seen this before. I am Marcus, he said gently. Welcome to the Haven. You folks look like you could use some rest. A woman with dark hair appeared. I am Dolores. Come on, little ones. Let us get you somewhere comfortable. Dolores led them to a small cottage. 2 bedrooms, a bathroom, a kitchen, and a living area. Everything was clean. There was food in the kitchen, towels in the bathroom, fresh sheets on the beds, child-proof locks on the cabinets, a basket of toys, night lights in each bedroom. Someone had prepared for them. That evening, Marcus knocked on the door. I wanted to let you know we looked at your car. Towed it back here this afternoon. Sarah's stomach dropped. Is it bad? The engine is damaged. But that is not what concerns me. He showed her a photo on his phone. That is your fuel line. See that cut? Someone sliced it. Just enough that it would fail after 50 miles. Sarah gripped the doorframe. Marcus showed another photo. This was hidden under your rear bumper. GPS tracker. Expensive. Professional. Preston, Sarah whispered. My husband. He sabotaged your car and was tracking you. But when the car stopped moving, you did not call anyone. You walked. You broke his plan. He will find us, Sarah said. Maybe. But now you are not alone. Tomorrow we will figure out next steps. But tonight you are safe. That night, Sarah could not sleep. Around midnight, she started packing their bags. She had to leave before Preston found them and hurt these good people. She was shoving items into the bag when a soft knock came. It is Dolores. I saw movement through your window. Sarah opened the door. Dolores looked at the bag in Sarah's hand. Going somewhere? I cannot stay. If Preston finds me, he will hurt everyone. Dolores stepped inside and walked to the kitchen. Sit down, Sarah. Something in her voice made Sarah obey. 15 years ago, I was exactly where you are right now, Dolores said. My husband was a police officer. Decorated. Respected. He was also the man who broke my ribs twice and dislocated my shoulder. No one believed me. How could they? He was a cop. Sarah stared at her. I ran just like you. Marcus found me sleeping in my car in a parking lot. He offered me a safe place. I almost did not take it. I almost ran again because running alone was all I knew. What changed your mind? Marcus said something I never forgot. He said running alone is what they want. When you are isolated, they have all the power. But standing with a community, with people who will fight for you, that is how you take the power back. What if I bring danger here? That is our choice to make, not yours. Every person in this compound knows the risks. We have all faced violence before. We do not take people in because it is easy. We take them in because it is right. I do not know how to stop running. You do not have to stop all at once. You just have to stop tonight. Dolores reached across the table. Stay. Let us help you. When Preston comes, he will find something he has never encountered before. What is that? A family that fights back. Sarah looked at Dolores. This woman who had survived her own hell and was strong enough to help others. Okay, Sarah said quietly. I will stay. The next morning, Keanu organized a meeting. He brought 3 lawyers who specialized in helping abuse victims. They explained the plan. File for protection orders. Emergency custody. Document everything. Build a case. Sarah's sister Noelle arrived with evidence she had been collecting for 6 years. Recordings of Sarah's desperate phone calls. Text messages. Photos of bruises. Everything needed to prove what Preston had done. The lawyers also discovered something terrible. Preston had been married before. His first wife disappeared 8 years ago. Police said she ran away, but her family never believed it. They thought Preston made her disappear. Sarah realized she could have been next. Over the next week, the legal team worked fast. They got a protection order against Preston. They filed for emergency custody of the children. They contacted the FBI because Preston had committed federal crimes by sabotaging the car across state lines. Preston tried to fight back. He hired expensive lawyers. He planted stories in newspapers calling Sarah unstable. He even sent someone to scare Sarah at the Haven, but the man was caught and agreed to testify against Preston. The custody hearing came. Sarah walked into the courtroom with Keanu, Marcus, Dolores, her sister, and her father by her side. Preston sat across the room with his lawyers, looking confident. But when the judge heard all the evidence, saw the photos, listened to the recordings, and heard testimony about the sabotaged car and GPS tracker, everything changed. The judge gave Sarah full custody immediately. Preston was arrested in the courtroom for stalking, attempted kidnapping, and other crimes. 3 months later, Preston was sentenced to 14 years in federal prison. His first wife's case was reopened for investigation. Sarah was finally free. 1 year after that day in the diner, Sarah stood at the Haven's anniversary celebration. She now worked as a counselor, helping other women escape abuse. Emma and Jack were happy, healthy kids who loved their new life. Keanu stood to speak at the dinner. A year ago, I met a woman in a diner who asked me for my leftover food. She was hungry, exhausted, and afraid. She had walked 8 miles through the desert carrying her children. He looked at Sarah. I did not save her. She saved herself. I was just in the right place at the right time. He continued. You do not have to be special to make a difference. You do not have to be rich or famous. All you have to do is pay attention. Notice when someone is struggling. Ask if they need help. And then really listen to the answer. Later that night, Sarah stood outside looking at the stars. Keanu found her there. How are you feeling? He asked. Grateful. And scared sometimes. And hopeful all at once. That sounds about right. They stood in comfortable silence. You know what I learned this year? Sarah said. That asking for help is not weakness. It is the bravest thing a person can do. And it is never too late to start over. No matter how broken you think you are, there is always a chance to begin again. Keanu smiled. That sounds like wisdom to me. Sarah thought about the high school student who found courage to report her abusive father after hearing Sarah's story. About the women in her support group taking their first steps toward freedom. About Emma and Jack who would grow up knowing that love is not supposed to hurt. The world needs more people who stop and ask, Sarah said. People who see someone struggling and do not just walk by. Be that person, Keanu said simply. That is all any of us can do. Be the person you needed when you were at your lowest. Sarah nodded. She had been that person for others without even knowing it. She could continue being that person. The stars wheeled overhead. Somewhere in the compound, a child laughed in their sleep. Somewhere else, a woman who arrived yesterday was learning she was safe. She was believed she mattered. Sarah had walked through fire and emerged on the other side. She had lost nearly everything and found something she never expected. A family, a purpose, a future, and the knowledge that no one has to face darkness alone. Because sometimes all it takes is one person, one moment of kindness, one hand extended in the dark. And that one moment can change everything. Sarah looked at the haven, at the lights glowing in the windows, at this community that saved her life. She smiled. She was home. She was safe. She was free. And she would spend the rest of her life helping others find their way home too. This is a story of hope. A reminder that kindness matters. That one person can make a difference. That it is never too late to escape. That you are never truly alone. And that sometimes the stranger in the diner might just be your angel in disguise.